Hello, this is going to be part 4 of my series on angular compression. If you haven't seen the other videos, I would recommend that you do. I'm going to put a playlist right about here. The video you're watching now will be included in that playlist, so you'll be able to come back to this one having a better context of where I came from. Originally, I was going to make a video as a response to one that I had watched by Wade's Underworld. And in this video, he had a drone that he flew up at a higher altitude, and you could see more of this ship. And you can read some of the comments here. It's quite hilarious, really. But I did ask Wade if I could borrow his footage, and he said yes. And there's another YouTube creator, Primonome Ultimonome, and he replicated the footage, and this one is even more insane with its comments. But I asked Primonome if I could borrow his footage as well, and he said yes. I'll put a link to their videos in the description below, along with the video of somebody else that I discovered recently as well. And I'm just going to play a few still frames of that video here in this one, but check out the description and go and watch their videos on their channels. I think that each one of them did a really good job in their videos. I chose to model what we see and do something similar to what Primonome did. Although I'm not going to have the two side by sides, I'm only going to play them one after the other. There is one basic observation that flat earthers cannot deny. I made this series of animations to show those two properties. The first is that as a ship slowly approaches towards you, there is more and more of the ship that becomes visible, to the point where eventually the entire hull is visible. And here I simulated what it would be like if you were on the shore with your P1000 zoomed out towards the horizon, and you see a ship approaching you, so you start zoomed in, and as it starts getting closer and closer, you start zooming out. Then I added this little zoom in because you can see right about here, I added a white line whose thickness was its thickness above the surface of the water. And the only reason I did that was so that you could see on the screen at what point on a globe Earth with standard 7/6R refraction, being 2 meters above the water, where you could see the entirety of the boat and not have any of the boat obscured by Earth curvature. I should have stayed on here just a little bit longer, but at this point it's clear that I'm now seeing the entirety of the boat, and I started zooming back out. And as the boat continues to approach, it turns around, and as it's turning around, I'm increasing in altitude. And I could have added these two numbers together, but the way my scripts work, this 2 meters is a constant in the script that I use to generate this image, and this is a separate value that I provide when I'm doing my animations. And then once it does a full 180, it goes back out. I stay 62 meters above the surface of the water. I added these as reference markers so that it's a lot clearer when I'm zooming in and out. But again, I have this field of view in degrees. I'm also looking down slightly. This boat angle just simply means that it's 90 degrees in this direction, and the water mode is a globe, which means that at some point it's going to go over the curve. We can see that somewhere around here we are now starting to see the boat go over the curve, and eventually it goes down and is completely obscured by the water. I decided to do the same thing again by telling it not to draw the water. So the water line is really right around here somewhere. And just for reference, I went online and I found some of the specifications for some of these cargo vessels, and I think this was one of the cargo ships that I kind of based mine on. You can see the bridge is about half the width of the ship, and it's about 3/4 of the way back. I didn't bother making it nice and rounded. I just kept it looking box shaped. And this animation is a replication of Wade's video where he got his drone to go up, and by gaining elevation his drone was able to see more of the ship. Here you'll see as the camera increases in height, it's dipping down a little bit more slightly, but the boat stays at the same distance away from the observer. And so here I go all the way up to 80 meters and I come back down. Here I decided to do the same thing again if the Earth was flat. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how far away the ship is, the view looks essentially the same. As objects go off in the distance, all one has to do is zoom in a little bit more. This one again is the same animation. I told it not to render the water. And then finally for the last one, I did something similar where I go up to 80 meters and I come back down with the ship still being at 25 kilometers away. And now I'm going to play each of these videos. that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, you know what to do. And I'm going to see you again in another video soon enough. So bye for now.